Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon,
And I'm Mom.
and welcome back here to Tansson Talks TV.
Yep, glad to have you back again.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you back. And first of all, how are you doing, Mo?
I am doing fine on a Monday evening, doing just great.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yes. And how are you doing today, Brandon?
I'm doing well, and I hope everyone viewing at home is doing well also.
Yep, I hope so too.
Yeah, well, Mom, are you able to let us know what show are we watching here today?
I hope everyone's ready. We are doing something that's current. We are going to talk about Frasier today.
Yes, and we are speaking about the new series Frasier that just debuted on Paramount Plus October 12th, 2023.
Yes.
Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't have Paramount Plus, the day that this releases, October 17th, 2023, the first two episodes will be airing on CBS as well.
Yep. I look forward to watching them again.
Before I let you go ahead and get on with our synopsis, I did want to provide a little bit of background. So, Frasier, um, so the series that we are watching today is Frasier, but this is the 2023 series. And so the series is based on the character Dr. Frasier Crane. He first appeared in season 3 of the show Cheers in 1984, continued with there until 1993, had his own show also called Frasier, 1993 to 2004, and this is now his third series, his third act, starting last week to the present day.
Uh, I say thank you for the background, Brandon.
Yes, this character has been around for 39 years.
And that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so I'm very excited for us to get into this. And yeah, if you're able to go ahead and take it away.
I sure will. Brandon, I'm going to do things a little differently today. I know normally I kind of give a synopsis, and I am going to give a synopsis. However, I'm not going to babble as I normally do. This time, Brandon, I'm going to take a top 10 list approach for 10 things that happened during the first episode. I will admit some of the sentences might be a little longer for some numbers than others, but we're going to try this, and we're going to give a top 10 approach. So, number one, um, Frasier. We learned that Frasier's father has recently passed away, and Frasier has just come into town. Um, he surprises number two. He surprises his son Freddie. He goes to his apartment and he sees him with a girl living with him, and the girl's name is Eve. Three. Um, Frasier misinterprets the relationship between Eve and Freddie. And then for number four, um, he goes to give a speech, of the he meaning Frasier. Frasier actually meets one of his friends while he is in town, and his friend is a professor, and he goes to the professor's college at Harvard, and Frasier gives a speech, or at least speaks to the class, for with his friend. The dean, number five, the dean likes the speech and wants Fraser to work at Harvard. And um, then from there, we talk, number six rather, the audience learns that we learn a little bit about Freddie's history. And so we learned that Freddie's partner has passed away, and Freddie is a firefighter, to give a little background there. And his partner's girlfriend has a baby. And apparently, the baby and Eve live with Freddie. And this is how the relationship is between the girl that Fraser had misinterpreted. And there's a baby there that Fraser learns about, you know, very quickly. And so Freddie, number seven, wants to help raise the baby. And then Frasier and number eight, Frasier and Freddie talk about Frasier's father, and they do come to some sort of conclusion. They do things to kind of mend things together, and they have conversation. And then on number nine, Frasier moves across the hall from his son. And then number 10, Frasier tells the son he is not just moving across the hall, he has bought the whole building. and he wants his son to move in with him, and that way the girl Eve can live with her son in the apartment that she was sharing um, with with Freddie. And that's the top 10 in a nutshell.
Well, I love this new format, and thank you so much for it.
You're welcome.
And yeah, and this episode was the first episode of the new series titled The Good Father. And the director of this episode is actually James Burrows. And he is actually one of the co creators of the series Cheers, in which Frasier first appeared on.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and as a little bit of a background for the series before we go a little bit further into our little discussion is how much what do you know about whether the show Frasier, the new one, or the old one, or the character?
Uh huh. What do I know? Well, I will admit that I didn't watch Frasier while it was on. I have watched Frasier more recently, more so because it comes on late at night. And so sometimes I'll see episodes as they appear. So I've seen them sporadically here and there. Um, and so I've grown to like the series while watching it, here and there. I have not binge watched the series yet, so I have not seen them all back to back, but I do see them periodically as they do come on.
Yeah, and as for me, I have never seen the original series, and I've never seen Cheers, but I have seen like very small snippets, like episodes. But I mean that I don't remember anything of it other than just the general dynamic of everyone, and so from that, I do see that like a little reciprocated within this new series, but now with Frasier being on the opposite side of it, whereas instead of having his father live with him, he's now living with his son, or vice versa.
Yes. And I will admit that I really didn't watch Cheers. We'll have to see if one day we talk about that. But I didn't, well, I should say I watched some episodes at the beginning, but after that I really didn't watch Cheers. So I do not recall when Frasier came on Cheers. I know he was on there, of course, but I don't recall his, his, I don't recall him being on the show. And so, but when Frasier came on, I don't know why, late at night, I started watching that. So I guess there must be a difference in how things are written for me, because I do prefer him better on Frasier than I did on the very few times I saw him on Cheers.
Yeah, and I will say for both Cheers and Frasier, both of them were long running shows. Both of them ran 11 seasons independently of each other. And I believe Cheers actually only had 11 more episodes than Frasier from my research.
Mhm.
So, but I mean, so that both of them had extraordinary runs. And I think it's mainly unheard of for a spin-off show to have that long of a run.
Yep, that is amazing. To play one character for that many years is just amazing.
Yeah, next year would make year 40 of that character. And so hopefully this series is able to continue to progress. And I don't think it's really missed a beat.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
Yeah, and what would you say is something that stood out to you in this episode?
Well, I will say something that stood out to me that I'm very happy that they did do is to explore the relationship um, between Frasier and his son Freddie. Like I said, the very few episodes of Frasier that I have seen Freddie in a couple of them, but to have his personality explored or just the imagination of what he turned out to be, it is really kind of nice to see that. And so I am happy that they're kind of continuing the tradition as kind of like you mentioned, where the father son relationship.
Yeah, and I will say that in speaking about it, it does get a little confusing since both the new series and the old series have the exact same title. But nevertheless, though, I will say too that I like the tribute that these first two episodes of the new series played to the dad of the original show. And so like the first episode was dedicated to him, and the rush and the bar that they attend is also named after him, the actor.
Yeah, yeah. You told me about that, and I thought that was really interesting. I did not catch that.
Yeah, and so I really like that they did that, and I'm sure there's a lot more like tributes and nods to come for the series. I believe it will have 10 episodes at least for its first season, and so I'm very excited to see how the series progresses and play, it puts in nods to the original series, and I think that would highly encourage me to watch the original series.
Yeah, and Brandon, you should watch the original series, or at least watch some episodes to see, because I think you'll really like it. And actually, Brandon, I was surprised at really how funny the episode was. I mean, it was very nice and easy to watch. And so the audience knows we did watch the first two because they both were released at the same time. And so of course everyone needs to watch the second episode, but they did a good job of the transition from the first to second episode going through.
Yeah, and I will say that, for them putting out both of them, like I said, the first one is The Good Father, the second one is Moving In,
Hmm.
that I think that they did such a good job at letting them both stand alone but work better cohesively. And it's, I think, a real testament to say that the second episode, I think, really played on the first one well, but added stuff in its own right and didn't feel like just an extension.
Yep. No, they did a really nice job doing that. And I like that they actually do go into the past a little bit and they explain their history, not just the recent history, but especially in the second episode, they go back and kind of explain how Freddy has thought throughout the years. But they did it in a nice way that was comical, but yet you knew what he was, the seriousness of the relationship they did have.
Yeah, and so I'm so excited to continue watching the series and see how it progresses. And I like that it's a weekly, release series aside from the first two episodes, because I don't know, I feel like there's a little bit more of enjoyment and anticipation when series release weekly as opposed to all at once.
Yes, it is nice we get to take our time and not binge as we have done before.
Yeah, and so I think the series does such a great job thus far, and with the first two episodes, we can finally say that we watched something, as it came out, and thus far have watched the entire series since only two episodes have come out yet.
Yeah, and that's true too, also. And Brandon, were there any characters you'd like to see explored based upon the new series that you'd like to see explored further?
Oh, several characters. Like for me, like I think even though I haven't seen much of the character
Hmm.
Frasier, I feel like already very familiar with him just based off of how he's able to play the character
Hmm.
within these episodes. But I would definitely like to see more of what Freddy has to offer, because it sounds like there's a lot of stuff that he has yet to reveal to his father.
Hmm.
But in the same regard, I know the nephew of Frasier, David. He is definitely a very fascinating character, and so he's played off as very clumsy in some cases, and yeah, and not always a part of the central plot, but definitely like I think a humorous character for the B plot. But I love his character already, and I also can't wait to see Frasier's new colleagues at Harvard, Alan and Olivia, because they definitely seem to have their own interest in mind.
Hmm. And I'm kind of like you, Brandon, because I was thinking originally I thought about the character of Alan, who is the colleague, and I know I didn't talk about that in the synopsis. It's something people will just kind of have to go and watch to see, but he's an interesting character, and so I'd love to see how they develop him. Of course, just like you said with Freddie also. But and then just think about Fraser himself. I mean, it's been many years. What has he done in between? He's no longer a radio talk show host, and obviously he's been speaking at colleges, but what has his life been like for the last few years?
Yeah, and I will say the first episode, because I do know that in the original series, even though I hadn't seen it, that he does host a radio show. But the first episode does allude to him potentially having television appearances,
Hmm.
as well, and that everyone seems to recognize who he is. So it also makes me wonder if he had made a transition at all, to television, whether between the two Frasier series or
Hmm.
at the end of the original. I guess we'll have to tune in to find out.
Yeah, we will. We will.
But is there anything else that you want to mention before we go ahead and end out our discussion?
Well, let's talk a little bit about the theme song a little bit. Um, I do remember them singing that on the original show. And so it was interesting to hear them sing it again. I would only have to give it a 6 because I do not remember the words for this particular. It didn't. I mean, it stands out as being catchy, but not that I remember the words to the theme song. But it was nice to hear that they kept a theme song, even though at the end it was nice to hear that they kept the song.
Yeah, and I will say that for anyone who has not yet seen Frasier, is that while of course you have the title card at the beginning, the actual song part of the theme song is actually at the end of the series as opposed to the beginning.
Yes, yes. Like I said, it's catchy. I just don't remember the words. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I think so.
But yeah, and something I will say about the title card, the title card at the beginning is for this first episode, they actually show the title card from the original series, showcasing the Seattle skyline as opposed to the Boston one in the second episode.
Yeah, and you mentioned that to me also, and I didn't catch that, so it was very observant of you to see that.
Yeah, because when I pressed play on it, I almost thought I pressed play on the wrong one because it showed the Seattle skyline, but which is shown in as a depiction of the original series. But
Mm.
I guess because the character Frasier had not yet officially made the move, I guess they waited until afterwards to make the change.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But yeah, but I suppose this helps end out our discussion.
Yes. And we'd love to hear what you guys think about the episode that has just aired, or if there are any other episodes that you'd like for us to explore. So please do in the comments below, yeah, and below, make sure that you write down any series that you'd like for us to look at, or any episodes that you'd like for us to explore, and then your thoughts about Frasier.
Yeah, we would love to see your thoughts. And if you think that we should also check out the original Frasier, let us know in the comments below as well.
Oh yeah, and if you're going back further than that, what about Cheers?
Yeah, keep us posted and let us know what is it that we should watch next.
Yes.
But until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and we can't wait to see you all next time.
All right, have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.